Hey guys, happy Monday. I know today is 9/11. And I'm surprised it's not like a national, like it's not a US holiday and like things just because, I have to tell you, I started the day off and instantly I thought about my daughter is 20 years old and I was 20 years old when 9/11 happened. And she is at the beauty college that I was at the day that 9/11 happened. And I was sitting there thinking about, and there's a reason why I'm bringing this up, because I was sitting there thinking about how much my life has changed since like all of that happened and the way that it changed my perspective on life and the way that I went from going to beauty college and actually Tracy Edwards is in New York City right now, and my goal was to finish beauty school in New York. And as a West Virginia girl, that was kind of a very, it was something that a lot of people didn't do, but I was like always that person that if everybody else was going left, I was going right. And I 100% feel like no matter which direction you go, as long as you are staying focused on what the massive goal is, you're going to get there. So, like, anyways, 9/11, it changed the trajectory of my future because afterwards, there were some things going on at the school that I was at the time that just were very unsettling. And I actually ended up withdrawing from there and moving to a different city um, with my girl's dad. And I went to a different school and something didn't work out and I ended up in nursing school and then I ended up as a nurse not being able to pay my bills and that's how I ended up in network marketing 10 years ago, right? So I share all of that because I also have our second oldest. He's going through like some life changes where his goals and he feels like I think the younger generation, like the 20 to maybe even younger, maybe, I don't know, Colton's 17. He's like, I don't know what I want to be. I'm like, that's okay. You don't have to know. Like, I've changed my job and what I was going to do in life 20 million times, right? And I think sometimes these kids feel like they have to have it all figured out. And I think us as adults, we feel like we have to have it all figured out or else we're not winning or we're not like succeeding. And I just read a post on a network marketing page that I'm on by Rob Sperry the other day that said, when you go from $60,000 a year to $70,000 a year, you look at it as like a massive, like, yes, like you're winning, right? But when you are an entrepreneur and maybe you lose 10,000, you feel like you might be making like 200,000 a year and you drop to 190 or you drop to 150 and you feel like you're failing. However, you're still where you were at one point at 60 or 70 when you started off. You're still like double what you were, right? So like somehow you get it in your head and you start living that. You start living in that place. And that's kind of why like I started this the way that I did because you guys 20 years, 22 years from now, you're going to look back on today and you're going to realize how much deviation and changes that happened, right? So like it's real easy in the moment if you aren't where you want to be to kind of say you're never going to get there. And I just made a post right before this Zoom that said, you know, basically don't allow anyone to tell you that you can't achieve your goals or that you won't achieve your goals that they themselves didn't. Okay. Or they didn't want to, or maybe they went to a different path, or they went like you went left and they went right. Whatever. Everybody can still achieve what they want to achieve. But ultimately, at the end of the day, you can't keep following each person, whatever direction they tell you to go. At some point, you have to make the decision of what it is that you want to accomplish and then how you're going to get there. And I don't know if you guys, probably not, because it seems like Facebook has been very weird lately about what posts they're showing people. But I made a post, I think Saturday morning, and on the Dream Team page. So some of you guys are on it, some of you guys are not. But I'm just going to read these off to you really, really quickly before we get into it. All right. So here's the fact of the matter. We are in an economy that stinks, right? Like we know this. It's like it's expensive for people to go to the grocery store. You know, and my husband and I were driving down the road the other day and I was really being hard on myself. Very hard on myself because I have an expectation for myself that is very unrealistic sometimes. Okay. Very unrealistic. And I am a huge people pleaser. And if somebody isn't where they want to be or not accomplishing what they want, I'm talking about my kids, my family, my team, my friends. It's like if I can't figure it out, I feel like I'm letting them down, even though I know that's just like unrealistic. Or if I don't hit a goal that I set for myself, but I was working really hard for it, but like it just didn't happen. Um, I beat myself up like hard, beat myself up. And he said, Amanda, he was just like, you need to listen to the way you're talking to yourself. And it was like, well, geez Louise, thanks, husband. I love you. Thank you for that. And I just cried because like literally him saying that, it was like it smacked me right in the face that I was literally speaking into failure because I was beating myself up over the things I wasn't doing or hadn't done yet or wanted to accomplish, but was falling short on. And, you know, I had to sit there and I was like, I really was thinking about it. My dad was an offensive line coach when I was growing up. And I had this conversation with my daughter and she always said this, and I hope you guys really hear what I'm saying here. My dad used to tell me that people always would say, defense will win your game, right? Actually, not in football, right? Actually, if you've got a good offense, you can win all the time because you're going towards the goal, right? You're going towards the goal. If you are on the offensive line, you're going towards the goal. Your mission is to figure out the way. Like, are you going to throw it? Are you going to pass it? Are you going to go left? Are you going to go right? Like, how are you going to get there? But your mission is to become a master of getting to that goal. And the same thing goes with our businesses, right? We have to figure out how to get there. So, in an economy that is, beating us all down, here's what we know is factual. 400, and these statistics are of 2023. So, it's not of a different year. 450 billion people or $450 billion are spent in the United States yearly, you guys, on health and wellness products. 450 billion. That's in this economy. All right. So what does that tell you? People are looking for what you have. You just have to get in front of the people that want it. Now, I'm going to tell you straight up, your friends and family aren't going to probably be the ones. They might help you, they might order from you, but they're not necessarily going to be the ones that rock it out with you. All right. And that's just a reality that I've seen. I mean, don't get me wrong, they may, but chances are it's going to be the people that you relate to or that get to know you, that follow you, that see the vision of what it is that you have, that they see the results that you have. Another statistics, almost 50%, it's 49.1% of US adults try to lose weight every year. Every year. Right? So that's like half. And then it's like 56% of them are women, like 46% are men. All right. I'm just going to say a wider range because it's like millennials, Gen Z, Gen X, whatever, 40 to 70% of people are literally actively searching for ways for a side hustle or make money online. Now, you have the answer to all of those things, right? But how do you get you in front of those people? And that's kind of what we want to talk about tonight, right? Is like how you're going to set yourself up over these next 4 months. Well, the rest of this month and then the 3 months that follow. You guys, I cannot stress to you enough how important the end of the year is. Okay. Like literally Lavelle is like spoon feeding us right now. Like with these 25 credits, here's what I can tell you. Every single customer gets 25 credits. Every single one of those customers being in the system, you can follow up with. And you might be able to introduce them to gummies right now, or you can introduce them to women's capsules right now. And I am really, really on a mission to everybody is sharing referral links and referral codes and stuff like that. I mean, there's like TikTok shop, there's Amazon, shop, there's all this stuff. That is becoming something comfortable for our society. All right. I want that to be something that's very comfortable for you guys to share to make people understand that they can get this for free, 100%, and that they can run their business for free. When they buy an upgrade pack as a promoter, that they're learning how to profit, turn that into profit, how they're learning how to turn that stuff in to customers and to share it. And that ultimately comes down to sharing exactly what it is you have. And it doesn't matter how you go about it, but I'm going to promise you, if you get focused in on how you're going to meet new people, how you're going to get the results people are searching for, and this might take a little research, you guys, on your end. All right. It's going to take a little research. That's what I've been doing. So some people might not have seen some of me, but I'll tell you what, I've signed more customers the first week of this month, right? Like, I mean, I don't know. I've been signing a good bit of customers, to be honest with you, because seeds that I had planted over the last couple months are going, but it was like day 3 or 4 of the month. I was like at 704 or something like that PV. I had already hit my 2. I had signed 3 or 4 customers, multiple new customers, and then some reoccurring customers and so forth. And I set a new PV goal for myself. How many of you guys, if you have a personal volume goal for yourself every month, literally, I want you to be honest, put a 1 in the comments. If you have a PV goal, and okay, I should have said this differently. That's over 200. Like, I actually want you to like, not just try to hit the bare minimum. Like, do you have one? Okay, the reason why this is an important question, and if you do not have one, and I'm going to challenge every single person on here to set it for, if you're not very good at signing customers, set it for like double the minimum or something along that lines, right? Like set it somewhere realistic for yourself. Maybe even set it for, let's see, like 300 or something along those lines, just because that's 2 experience packs. All right. But as you're going, like for me, I'm just going to tell you, I set mine right now for 2,000. Do I want to be at 2,000? No, I want to be at 4,000. I want to be at 5,000. I want to be at 6,000. I want to have my PV really high. All right. But if you don't have that goal set, you're not going to hit it. You're not going to be intentional with hitting it. You're just going to be intentional with the bare minimum, right? Which we know now is 200 PV to be qualified and active, which by the way, and I'm going to shut up here in just a second, because if not, like nobody else will ever get a chance to talk. I'm going to let Jackie, we've got a guest tonight, and I'm so excited because she's been so excited to get on, and she's going to share some little tidbits tonight too. But you guys, you might not be able to see it yet, but this compensation change is actually very good. All right. Because it is making compression happen. And I can tell you, when I look at my numbers from my check, and even when I look at, and I break down, okay, I break down my pay. and I open up that little tab that tells me where my volume, where my pay is coming from, where most of my money is being made. And I watch that, and you should too. Okay. Because that tells you where you need to be focusing at. That tells you what you need to be working on to grow a larger check. It also, and that's on the money end of things. Here's the reality. You can't make people work that don't want to work. And you also have to meet people where they're at. Okay. So, like, don't put that person that doesn't ever plug in and doesn't really talk to their team as your 200K yet, right? Don't put them as your 4K yet. You put that person there when they are setting that goal and that is what they are working towards, right? That's when that person gets put on that chart. And I am actually like, it makes me sick because I literally would have been at that 1 million and the 600, like literally would have been at all of them. All right. And I'm proud of that. But you know what it tells me, even though I'm not there now? Like I would have hit and had all of the qualifications for every single one of those. Because I have been there before, I know I can be there. So I just got to figure out who my people are going to be that are going to be each one of those things that I need to accomplish that goal. And each one of you guys, I know some people were like, well, what about this? What about that? You guys, you realize that if you help enough people, just like the Zig Ziglar quote, all right, that I shared the other day, you can have everything in life you want if you will just help people get what they want. So if you help 10 people hit 4K rank, or you help 10 people hit multiple ranks, which multiple ranks, okay, you're going to get 100% of their bonus. You guys, that's life-changing. Like, that's literally could be doing so much, not only for the people that are hitting those, but you as well, what you can invest in, what you can do with that. A lot of people are paycheck to paycheck right now. So anyways, okay, I'm going to shut up for a hot minute because I've already rambled on and on and on, but I'm inspired by what the company has provided for us as a tool right now. Okay. Well, they're giving us this. We have to figure out how to get in front of the right people. And we're going to talk about that a lot. But I'm going to let Jackie start and then, yeah. And then you can pass it on and then we'll go on. Sound like a plan?
Yes. Hi, guys. Welcome. Happy Monday. I'm happy you guys are all on here right now. We have some pretty good numbers, honestly, for a Monday. That just tells me that a lot of people are kind of coming back to life. They're off summer break and stuff. And, by all means, enjoy the time with your families, right? But there's, a time when everybody comes back. And what I love the most about this team and just our movement in general is that you guys can always return home, right? How many of you guys have been here through like a couple of seasons and like, you guys know where to find us. We're always here. Yeah, there might be some changes here and there, right? Where like it's like, oh, what time does this Zoom come on or like whatever. But for the most part, we're here. So, you guys welcome. You guys are on here right now. But I love what Amanda was talking about with the whole paychecks because when somebody brand new comes in and they come in for the opportunity, they come in for the opportunity and they don't see money right away, right? You guys might see those VIP bonuses. If you are someone who is driven, and coachable, when you guys see that and you guys see like, okay, there's these dials and I can get these bonuses. Yes, you get the VIP 400, 800, 1600. Cool. What's next, right? I didn't get any of those bonuses. Okay. I got signed on as a promoter, so I didn't have to be on auto ship, right? I wasn't actually interested in the opportunity. And my first paycheck looked like $30, you guys. And it was just pure like passion for the product. And because I felt what it was doing. And I was an entrepreneur previously to this business, right? And that's why when I felt it working, I knew it was a no-brainer because I'm like, this is something I can get behind. Let me share it. Was never about the money for me, you guys. But as things like started like rolling in, I didn't care what it looked like. Like, yeah, there'd be like times where I'm like, okay, well, what am I making and stuff like that. But in the beginning of my business, you guys, I'm gonna be completely transparent. I rolled all the money that I was making back into my business, okay, for a while. Like I was at 12K for a while in a couple of months. And you guys don't have to do this, but at the time I was at a comfortable, I was comfortable because I did have, my lab at the time. I used to own a vape lab, you guys, where I used to make 200 flavors. I used to work with a bunch of like men. I used to have a bunch of employees working under me. I was the boss, right? So I had a very comfortable, salary there. It was my own business, but I had a comfortable salary. And also I had a spouse that was taking care of me, right? So this was kind of like a hobby for me when I first started. And those checks coming in, like, $30 here and there for every Thrive experience sold, right? I didn't care about it. I really didn't care about it. It's like, cool, Tuesday we got paid. But as I got more curious, and I love how Amanda was talking about the checks, how she opens up her checks and she looks at it, right? You guys will not see money if you guys are not getting people on Thrive, right? That is just the bottom line, end of story, right? You guys, if you are personally enrolling people, you guys are going to see those checks, right? If you guys bring on a team, you guys are going to see a little bit from theirs. But at the same time, we can't just sit and expect money to fall into our laps without leading our people correctly, right? Your income is not going to grow unless you tell people and you coach them correctly, plug them into some of the resources and stuff. And it might be a slow little drip, right? It might be, they might not be ready to hop on like all these Zooms at once. That means you're going to have to take a little bit more time to spend one-on-one. If you're going to be convincing anybody, it should be a promoter to really, hey, just trust me. That should be where your convincing should be, right? Spending time with them one-on-one. I'm telling you guys, that one-on-one spending time, breaking through a lot of some of their objections and stuff, that is how you're going to get a promoter to stay with you. Okay. Like that's basically where it's at. Cause in the beginning of my business, I started and, I was posting and there's a lot of people like I post on social media a lot. I was somebody who was a poster previously, right? I used to post my food. Same thing with Angela. She was a natural poster, right? So was I. Not everybody is going to be like that, right? So I had to break through a lot of objections with people who are like, well, I have to post like how you post. I'm like, you know what? I'm straight up with them. It will help you if you start posting, but if it's not your thing, then you're going to have to find another way, right? You just have to be straight up with people. What are you willing to do, right? What are you willing to do to make it work? Who do you know? Everybody's going to work their business differently. Network marketing is something that's like, if you are a really good on social media, great. But like we have such a big, like I don't know how big network marketing is. Like there's millions of companies out there, I'm sure, at least hundreds of thousands, right? And there's so many people that don't use social media at all, or they just have a social media presence, but it looks like terrible, right? But they're still able to make money. And sometimes they're still able to make more money than somebody who's actually using social media, but not really like getting momentum out of it, right? So, how do you really break through some of those things? I would definitely say plug in, right? If somebody who is joining the business and they're like, okay, well, what do I have to do? I'm going to start off as a brand new promoter. I have to start posting. Instead of posting, I would tell them to start plugging in because that's where they're going to get inspiration, right? If you just tell somebody to post, but they have no guidance, they have no, they're not filling their they're not filling their cup with the motivation, the knowledge, the verbiage and stuff that you guys are hearing on some of these Zooms, they're not going to know what to post, right? Well, the things that they're going to post, like it's not going to, it's going to be like, I don't want to just say it's spammy, but their posts are not going to connect, right? And the whole point when you guys are using social media is you want to be able to connect, right? There's some comments up in here. What's going on in here? But yeah, I mean, going back to, just some of these things, hopefully that inspires you guys just to start somewhere. Like it's not going to, your business is not going to look like one of our businesses in the beginning, right? You're not going to have like a bunch of posts. You're not going to have 20 stories like how some of the veterans do. You're not going to have all these things, right? You will have the resources, you will have the time. And if you have the patience, you'll start finding a groove of your own and what you'll be like posting and like really what works for you. I think one of the most important things when you're getting started as a promoter is setting aside time for the business, right? And when you set aside time for the business, whatever that looks like for you, I mean, if a lot of you guys have kids or you guys have your daily, jobs and careers and stuff, it's like, where are you going to find that time, right? You have to make some kind of change. And, lucky for me, when I was starting off, my upline, she was already in the business for a year. She was waking up really, really early in the morning, and she's a morning person. I personally am not, but I followed her lead because I started waking up earlier, right? Because, Thrive, when you take the products, you're automatically going to want to wake up early, but our instinct is to stay in bed, right? Our instinct is to just like, I don't usually wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning, so why should I get up now? Let me just stay here for like another 2 hours with my eyes open, even though I'm like thriving, right? Like that's what normal people will do. So we need to lead them, right? If there are calls that are on early up that morning, like get them on, right? The most important thing too is having an open mind, right? If you guys have brand new promoters who are coming into the business, and anyone, even a customer, right? Because I know when I say if you have a brand new promoter, some of you guys might be drawing a blank, like, I don't have a promoter right now, right? You got to help open up people's minds, right? How you do that, you can do it through posting, you can do it through just simple conversation when you're talking to them. You can ask them, are you open? Someone with a closed mind, like it costs them a lot of money to stay closed minded, right? It's one of the most expensive things you can own is a closed mind, right? If they're not open to things and stuff, like they will miss out a lot of opportunities just being closed minded. But back to the money and like all those things, like you will not make money unless you're bringing people in. That is the most important thing, right? Getting people on Thrive. It starts with that customer experience, and then it leads to the referrals, and then it leads to who do you know? Do you know anyone who might be interested in something like this? Like that's where it's at, right? And then soon you'll start seeing it like compound and multiply. And every week I want you guys to look at your checks, no matter what it looks like. Even if you signed one person or if you didn't sign anybody at all, right? I still want you guys to look at your checks. But your goal is, okay, I'm going to start adding people into my network, into my business so that my checks are going to start growing. And then when your checks start growing, right? And again, I always say this, work the promos, whatever Lavelle has going, make it a goal for you to like work that promo, get somebody into your organization that is utilizing that promo. And then, once you start seeing them, like, and you start seeing this, like when you guys see your checks, you guys open it and pay period reports, there is this pie. Okay. And I used to do this in my one-on-ones. Like if I would have somebody in my team, didn't even matter what level they were on, they'd be like, Jackie, I want to schedule a one-on-one with you because they want to grow, right? You guys can always reach out to your uplines for this. I mean, if you guys don't have an upline, you guys can reach out to like somebody you look up to, hopefully a leader, because most of the time, like, if they're not like at a leadership level, they're going to be like, I don't feel like capable to like lead or like guide you or whatever, but you guys can always reach out to a top leader, pick their brains, right? There is no problem with connecting and just being like, hey, do you have 30 minutes, right? Can you tell me some things, like give me some tips as a promoter? Like I would really appreciate your time. There's a lot of things that they can't see into your business, but if you guys do have an upline who's willing to help you, guide you, mentor you, and you screenshot your paycheck to them on a Tuesday and just be like, what am I doing wrong, right? Like an 80K, 200K would be able to probably help you with this, but they'll look at your paycheck and tell you exactly what you're not doing. They'll tell you like, oh wow, look at you, you have a lot of retail. That tells me that you have a lot of customers flowing through your organization, right? Or there might be things that you're not utilizing at all, right? So these are little things that once you have those goals, like I always like, if you know how much you want to make here, right? Like tell your upline, like, what is it going to take for me to make X amount per week or X amount per month? And something I want to like really emphasize too is we get paid here weekly. So when you guys see those weekly paychecks, they look smaller than if you were to see how much you're making every single month, right? Because you just think about it like, okay, well, I'm making, an extra $1,000 a month. But when you break it up into those like 4 to 5 paychecks that we have, maybe it doesn't look like that much, right? But we always have to remember to be grateful. And whatever our paychecks look like on Tuesday is what we did the previous week, right? And you guys can change that at any time. And once you guys really pay attention to the promos and stuff that happen, and like you guys get into the groove of things, right? Like we have to get more into the business mindset. Like, yes, the products are amazing, right? But we like, but there's so many crazy opportunities out there, you guys, where they're selling such crappy products, okay? But they have an opportunity and they're making money. Okay, they're because they're focused on the opportunity. So, we're so in love with the products. We're so in love with how it makes us feel. And it honestly, I'm going to tell you, it makes us a little bit soft, right? It makes us a little bit soft. But you guys, with amazing products, if you put that together with a business mindset, working smart and then also connecting properly with people, being able to offer them, you're either going to offer them the product or you're going to offer them the opportunity, right? You guys don't forget about that like concept of it, right? And for me, I always lead with the product first, okay? Because I feel like if you can get somebody on Thrive that believes in it, that feels that it's amazing, right? They will be able to easily sell it, right? It's funny. I actually this is just a personal thing, but I have a lot of friends. I've been doing this for 5 years, and I have a lot of friends who have reached out to me because they are like, oh, Jackie, like, like, will you support my business? But supporting their business means to me for me to sell it for them. And I'm like, I don't sell anything else but Thrive, right? Like Thrive is like this is all I do. But like when you have friends and stuff that are like, hey, Jackie, will you support my business? And then, I listen to them and I talk to them. It's like, yeah, I'll support your business. Like I'll buy something from you. But at the end of the end of it, they're actually wanting me to like sell it and promote it. Like, see, so it's really different. And sometimes when I'm out there, people tell me they're like, or they'll introduce me and they're like, oh yeah, she does sales. And I'm like, I don't sell. Like, I actually don't feel like I sell, like I don't see
Yeah.
this as like a sales job. Like I know that like sometimes we say it's a sales job, right? Like you're selling Thrive, but I'm sharing it. I'm offering solutions to people. If they want it, they want it. Like if they don't want it, I'm still going to be in contact with them. I don't treat them just as a sale, right?
Mhm.
But I see Amanda, you're there with your face showing.
I am. And I'll tell you what, guys, here's what I want everybody tonight to take away from before, like, yeah, we still got a lot, like, I mean, a lot to talk about, but write down what your goal is. All right. Write down how much it is most immediately. All right. That you need to be making that would really help you. Right. That can be a smaller number that you're just like, maybe you are somebody that has no customers, no promoters currently, and you are kind of like at square one. I want to talk to you. I want to reach each and every one of you, right? So like when I first started, I really, back 10 years ago, my goal was literally $500 a month. All right. So I was like, whether that meant and I'll just say it, I sold wraps, like I sold the skinny wraps and stuff like that. Right. So whether that was a combination of fast start bonuses, my monthly check, because we only got paid monthly, but we got paid weekly fast starts, and I could sell wraps. All right. Like I could sell our individual facial wraps or our body wraps. And we sold those for $25 a piece, which just so happens to be what a lot of people sell like the 3-day samples for, right? But anyways, my goal was $500 a month. And whatever way, whatever method, it didn't have to just be in my pay. I was aiming for that, right? So it was like I was trying to set up ways, how can I get in front of people? Now I was working full time at the time and I had little kids. Like Leo was like 2 or something at that time. So like my kids were 10 years younger than what they are right now. Um, but so I want everybody to set that goal for themselves. First and foremost, you need to know what that first and most immediate goal is, because until you reach that goal, you actually are not even going to get on the right track for the next goal, because you're not going to believe that you can achieve that next goal. All right. So set that first, most immediate goal for yourself. And then literally underneath that goal, think about what you need to do to get there. I remember listening on, I think it might have been MLM Nation or something. I don't know. It was a podcast of some kind. I listen to podcasts a lot of times when I'm in the car, and when I'm driving or I'm cleaning around the house, if I'm not listening to a Zoom, because I can't get on every Zoom when they're live. So sometimes I'm listening to a recording. I heard focus on the activity, not the results. All right. Because the activity is what's going to ultimately get the results. And you can't make somebody say yes, right? But I can make sure that I'm getting 3 pieces of content out a day on a certain platform, right? That is targeting my specific audience and letting them know what it is I have to offer, whether that's me sharing result photos, because result photos, you guys, let's be honest, that's what a lot of people, their eyes are going to, they're going to trigger into, because those are the results they want. So get focused on those actions, the activity that you need to do. Joining groups that are relevant to you right now, right? Like, so like me joining a divorce group wouldn't be relevant to me right now, even though I'm still in some of those divorce groups from when I was going through my divorce. And when I first had my gastric sleeve surgery, like I joined that group because I needed to get tips, and I was going to be posting. And guess what, you guys? I cannot tell you how many people I signed as new customers from that group, because literally I commented on their stuff. They commented on my stuff. We liked each other's stuff. We ended up adding each other as friends. And then one thing led into another, and they seen my stuff. Okay. But we grew a relationship. So think about that. How are you going to meet new people? Because the reality of it is, no matter where you're marketing, where you're sharing, how are you going to meet new people? How are you going to get in front of new people all the time, right? Because this industry, one thing you're going to learn, and I really hope this doesn't make anybody feel defeated or anything like that. People are going to roll through. All right. People are going to roll through. People are going to have different goals, people with different dreams. People are going to quit. People are going to come in. People are going to come back. People are going to be balls to the walls, and then they disappear and they fall off the face of the planet. That's something out of your control. Okay. So you have to just stay focused on who can you help next? How can you get in front of those people? So you set your goals, right? And then the activities that are going to go with your goals. My schedule is not going to be everybody else's schedule. That's why I always tell people, I'm like, listen, if you message me and I don't get back to you, I just said this earlier, didn't I? Yes, see ya. You're going to get some tips next, okay? Because the reality of it is that I have to block out times of the day when I'm in my messenger, my Facebook Messenger. There are times of the day, there are times of the day where I will check my Instagram Messenger, right? There are times of the day where I will check TikTok. Now, I work all 3 of those, but I'm just now getting back into a schedule of those. All right. So I was primarily only working Facebook. And then I realized like I'm already posting this content here. So I'm just repurposing my content out each platform, easier and better, but I'm being more intentional with friending, following, adding, liking, commenting. I carried on a very long conversation the other day with a girl. And then I was on the phone, you guys, with, I'm not going to say the rank, but somebody that was previously here that left, that I was on the phone with for an hour and a half the other day. And they're like teetering, right? Because they're just like, they feel like they're missing parts of things. And it's like, I'm like, you know what? A fresh start sometimes is exactly what you need. And whether that's here with me or with whoever, you got to do what's going to make you bloom, right? So you got to figure out where that passion lies and where you want to spend your time at. But you want to do a little bit of digging, you guys, figuring out who wants what you have. What are you putting out there? What are you sharing? The way that I market, the way that Jackie markets, the way every single one of us is going to do it differently. But guess what? What attracts people to you is what you share and what you decide to be vulnerable about. Your I'm sure you guys have heard this. Your mess is your message, but guess what? It doesn't always have to be messy. It can be beautiful, and it can be empowering, and it can be exciting, and you can be funny, and you can be creative, and you can all these things. And I just want to address this, says Amanda. And I was just telling Tim about I've been breaking down my categories. And I'll tell you here in just a second. Said, how did you reach out to ladies in groups? I did not reach out to people in groups about my business or about my products. I literally grew relationships in groups. Like I spent certain amounts of times of my day where I would post intentional questions that I needed answered, that I had relevant to my life at that point, like how to get more protein. What are you doing in order to get this? And then we would share tips, and then we became friends. And then they ended up reaching out to me because of what I was sharing on my page. They saw because I was liking, because I was complimenting them and commenting on their stuff, and we became friends. So I want you guys to know, I don't shoot messages to people right away. In fact, I hate that. If somebody comes at me and adds me to, like, if I join a group and somebody adds me and then shoots me a message, I'm like weirded out. Like, I don't make friends very easily like that. I'm like totally like, I feel sold to. And I don't like that. It's kind of like the car salesman when you walk onto a car lot and somebody else, they come up to you. It's like, nope, I don't need anything. Get the hell away from me. Or I tell them exactly what I need. And if you can't answer me, then bye. See ya later. Peace.
I'm gonna interject really quick. I personally, so everybody's different. I've never ever been in a Facebook group or had any kind of Facebook like momentum. I've never been in a
Yeah.
group where I've signed a Thriver or anything like that. So it's crazy, you know. I personally am
Uh-huh.
someone, I don't have time for groups. So I'm more of somebody who's belly to belly and like dipping into my warm
Yes.
market network referrals and like, you know, just that way. It's been, you know, amazing just
And I'm
doing that.
glad you interrupted and you said that, because she's been dying over here to talk, and
I've
like,
been like
please
itching.
introduce yourself and share. But I want you guys to understand this. It's not just groups, all right? Like, I actually primarily grew on Instagram. Like, when I took off in my growth, I actually grew. I know a lot of people think I just did Facebook, but if you go look at my followers, I mean, don't look at my following and my comments now, because I haven't worked Instagram like 5 years. Like, literally, like, I don't even know what happened there. I went flat. I like abandoned my Instagram for a long time. So I lost like a lot of the people that got to know me. But here's the deal. Instagram or Facebook groups, Facebook in general is not going to be for everybody. Instagram's not going to be for everybody. You guys, people, it's such an untapped market with Reels and TikToks for thrivers right now. So if you've got the balls, listen, I'm about ready to take that shit over, just so you know. Yeah, talk. I'm shutting up, and actually, I'm going to go fill my water up anyways.
Hi, you guys. My name is Shalana. If you've never met, I literally reached out to Amanda because I said, you know, I have a lot of things that I want to share, and this is the way that you get out of your comfort zone, is by reaching up. You know, Jackie and Amanda both mentioned a few things that I do want to talk about. Number one, if you don't have an upline, reach up. Like, that was one thing that I did at the beginning of the year. I reached out to Jackie. I said, I need some assistance. Can you help a sister out, please? Because if you want to grow and if you want to do more in this business, the first thing you got to do is reach up. You can't expect people to read your minds. That's the first thing. Oh, and also what I say to everyone, I'm speaking to myself. I say it with love. My delivery sometimes can be a little, you know, blunt, but I say it with the utmost love as well, because it's a message to myself as well. And one thing that I wanted to share as well is the personal development is super, super important, especially if you want to grow. You can't expect to, especially if you are struggling with sharing your voice, sharing your message, letting people know who you are, getting them to know, like, and trust you. It really does start with doing the personal development, because if you're not building that, then that's where we retract, and we don't, you know, share our products. We don't talk to the people that might sometimes say that they're looking for more energy, if they're looking, you know, to lose the last 10 pounds, or they just want extra income or whatever. You know, you gotta believe in yourself and just say, hey girl, like, I know that we've been talking for a minute, or I know we've been friends on Instagram or TikTok or Facebook, for wherever platform you're on, but I have something that I would love to share with you. And, you know, if you give me 3 days and let me guide you, and then you work with them, you build that relationship with them, you know. And, you know, Amanda said it so well that, yeah, you're going to have those friends or those people that are going to come off and come on, especially when it comes to the product or the opportunity. But it's about being consistent with yourself, you know, staying the course, you know, it's not always going to be for everyone, but you have to believe in yourself. You have to just constantly show up for yourself. Because if you don't show up, I don't know who said this. I know you've heard this before, is like, if your storefront's not open, no one knows that you're still doing it. That's why it's so important to share your 3 steps every day, or to show your capsules, or to talk about, the things that make you you. One of my inspirations is honestly like watching, Angela. When I first started this the business, I was skeptical. I was unsure, but I knew that what I had in my hands and the products and how I was feeling was super amazing. I signed up as a promoter, I think by accident. I wanted to just do it as a customer, but like, I literally was like, okay, like, let me just stay the course. There are so many things that are, and so many people that are their lives are changing. So I know what I have in my hands, and not to just sway because I may not be making the money, or I may not be making all the customers. You have to stay consistent with yourself, and you have to show up. You can't expect people to know what you're doing if you're not spreading your message. I know it gets uncomfortable sometimes to lead and to talk, but that's how you build the confidence within yourself. That's how it's worked for me, and to just not sell yourself short. There are so many blessings that can happen when you continue to stay the course, when you allow yourself the space and the grace to just show up and do it unapologetically. That's something that I have learned. And to communicate, don't be afraid to ask your people, like, what exactly are you looking for? How can I assist you? Even if maybe, if, like, let's just say, like, they're not ready to say yes to the product, you still show up and you still be that friend. We're here to, one of the best things that I heard is, be a professional friend maker. We're here to make friends, because when we're making friends, we're building relationships. We're letting people know that they're not just a number. I work a 9 to 5, as well as doing this. Plus I, do other things along the side, but I find the time to work my business in the nooks and the crannies of my day. I don't have the excuses. Like, there's so many times we use excuses. Oh, I have my kids, or I have my job, or, I have, all the activities. We all have different stories. We all have different lives, but it's how you still show up. So if you want to be a 4K, if you want to be 12K, if you want to be a 600K, how are you going to show up in that body? And yes, we are more than just a rank. We're here to create solutions. We're here to inspire people and empower people. But the way we empower people is by showing up for ourselves, especially if we are one of those. I mean, I'm not a mom. I'm single like a slice of cheese. It is what it is, but I still show up for myself, and I still show other people that just because I don't have the same lifestyle as maybe someone else doesn't mean that I don't live a busy life, doesn't mean that I can't still show up for myself and for my business and to help other people while building and creating my life. I hope that makes sense. In my brain, it makes sense, but sometimes coming out, it's just like words.
No, it made perfect sense. And there are people that are exactly like you, and that's who's going to be attracted, like, by your materials and the things that you put out there. And like, that is, I'm glad that you said that, because there's a lot of people that maybe aren't parents yet, or aren't married, or aren't in relationships, or whatever. You're going to have your own things that you are empowering. And I know that I see your page, and it's just like beautiful. If you even go there, guys, for just a minute, and you take a look at her Facebook page, like, it's very powerful, because it's literally loving yourself for everything that you are, and bringing that out in other people, and giving them that confidence, because you yourself are getting that confidence, and like, yeah, like, I'm owning it. This is who I am. This is how, like, this is what, like, here I am, I want you to believe that you're beautiful in every ounce of who you are, and that's a powerful message.
Well, and that's the thing is, like, a lot of times if you don't have the confidence in yourself, that's how you can build the confidence. It's about just believing in yourself, loving on yourself, because if you don't love yourself first, who's going to love you back?
And that's your content. That's your content right there, is sharing what it is that you're doing to help get that confidence. how you are
Exactly.
building that confidence, you know?
And like you even said too, it's like repurposing. Don't be afraid to repurpose. Don't be afraid to look like a hot mess on TikTok. If you should only see my TikTok, like I sometimes it's like, what just came out? What came out of your mouth for you to say that? And I'm like, it's just me. Like bless this mess. Like I'm going to show up as myself. And some of the stories, like not some of the stories, all the things that I share are my personal experiences, and not everyone is going to be able to relate to you, and that's okay. But at the same time, don't just let yourself fall into that hole or into that negative spiral the minute you see a negative Nelly or a toxic Tammy or whatever. You have to show up for yourself. There are going to be people that are watching your stuff that are going to trigger you, and sometimes that trigger there, I've learned, I've dealt with it, I still deal with it, is how you want to handle it. You can handle it and let it affect you, and then that stops you and holds you back, or you can rise above it and be like, you know what, there are going to be some people that are not meant to be in your life. They're not meant to, you're triggering them for a reason, because they don't want to look at their own mess, and you got to keep going. So many times we want to hold back because we get a message or we get a DM, or our family and friends don't want to support us, or they say that we're in, all these, like, the words and the scams and all that stuff. But here's the thing, this is where the personal development comes into play. You have to stand tall, stand strong in what you believe. And when you have those moments of like doubt or fear, that's when you have to go up. Go to your people that are going to give you the inspiration and the courage and the determination. Plug into Zooms and podcasts that are really going to build you up and remind you that you are doing something that is bettering yourself. 90% of the time when people are always giving you comments or negative comments, it's because they are doing less than you. It sounds really bad to say, but that's my personal belief. You'll never find somebody, ridiculing you or criticizing you for you doing more for yourself. You're going to find people that are literally going to uplift you and be like, girl, keep going, and are going to give you constructive criticism to level you up.
Right.
So surround yourself with people that honestly want to see you win. Yes, you have those maybe friends and those families that may not, get what you're doing right away. And I'm not saying you have to cut them off cold turkey, like maybe you're cutting off cigarettes or whatever, or alcohol or whatnot, but you can learn how to limit the time that you spend with them. Surround yourself with people that are going to give you the push and encourage you. And
Listen,
one thing I do also have to share as well is, if you're afraid of sharing your feelings and your thoughts on social media, the best thing as well that I can say, because I know there are a lot of people that do struggle with this, is start giving yourself challenges. Challenge yourself, I did this at the beginning when I first started entrepreneurship. Okay. Like, give yourself a year-end challenge. For the month of December, I'm going to come up every day in my story and I'm going to talk about something. If it's pickles, if it's your favorite food, your favorite cartoon, your favorite subject, your favorite shoes, whatever. Talk about something so you can get confident and comfortable in sharing your message. Share Thrive one day and talk about why you do it. Share like your kids and how sometimes they drive you up the wall. Share, maybe your partner, or, what you guys are doing as a date night, or whatever, what you're doing with your girls, or girls' night, whatever. Get comfortable being uncomfortable, because the more you do it, the more you're going to shine, and the more people are going to just see you come out of your shell, and you're going to start to really own it and romance your life the way that you want to. That's why, like, my logo is style your own lane. Style your own lane how you want to. It's your life. No one else can bake your cookies, so style it how you want to. If you want to put spaghetti Smarties and chocolate chips together in your cookies, then do it. But if I don't want to, then I'm not going to. I'm going to use oatmeal instead. Create your own version, create your own life how you want to. In my brain, that made sense. But
no, I love that you just said that. And I'm going to add to what you just said right there, is that as a challenge for yourself, you guys, figuring out who it is. Like, listen, if you are a mom, chances are you might have lost your identity along the way, aside from being mom. Okay. And if you are in that place, guess what? Take people on that journey with you as you're trying to figure it the heck out. Because we absolutely can do that. All right. Today I made, and I'm just going to share this, I made the best pumpkin, like, smoothie thingy with my lifestyle mix. All right. And like after I got done doing it, I said, why did I not share that? Like, you know how many people right now are making pumpkin everything? And I was like, this thing was like to die for, and I need to share it. And like my kids, like, they love it because like I always buy all these different flavors and stuff, and it all just came. And like that's the reality, is like I had to sit down this past week because so much of my life has changed. I was always identifying as I'm a nurse, I'm this, I'm that. Well, yes, I am, but here's the reality. I'm like midlife. Okay, I'm like 42. I've been divorced, remarried. I have the Brady Bunch. And guess what? Every morning I need to take my Thrive, or else I am literally going to strangle people. All right, I'm going to strangle them, and I'm probably going to lose my freaking mind. So yeah, it keeps me on task. It makes me get up. It gets me moving. By the time I get Leah to school, she's like, "Thank God Mom took her Thrive," because if not, I'm like, I'm grumpy. I hate mornings. I'm not a morning person. So figure out who you are, right? So like write down like 3 things, and it doesn't even have to be 3 exact things. Like I actually have subcategories, and I told Tim, I said, you know what? Like I love sharing leadership. I love sharing tips. I love sharing like inspiration and people to grow and challenge them that. But guess what else? I love to share my messy life and the shit storm I go through and the exciting things I go through, like with my kids. And I love to share that kind of stuff. I also, a very big part of who I am is my weight loss journey and my ups and downs and my struggles with that, because that is a lifelong story and journey of mine. So figure out who you are and how you can go on and share that kind of stuff. And if you can incorporate Thrive into that, that's excellent. Get a mastering in storytelling. Okay, guys, if I can tell you anything this week, study up on some storytelling. There is tons of information out there. And if you can figure out how to reach people by what you have to share, you are going to pull more people in. All right. And more people are going to be curious about what it is you have your hands on. I'm going to be honest with you. When I first started, this was the era of pyramid scheme, blah, 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 blah. Every other post, that's what you heard. Friends and family unfollowed me, blocked me, whatever. And my whole thought process is that I'm just going to show them. I'm going to show them that I can do this. My uplines knew diddly squat about social media. I knew that I could only add so many people on Facebook. Okay. And really, that's why I went over to Instagram, is because I realized that literally people were searching exactly what I had. So I started utilizing hashtags. I started utilizing keywords even way back then. And I realized the other day, like, why am I not doing that now? And listen, Roxy, was it Roxy or no, it was Lydia. Lydia just posted, I think it was Lydia that posted on Steph G's page the other day. You guys, listen, this promo that we have right now, I have lots of samples. I want a lot of reviews. Okay. So I am willing to give up 10 of my samples to get 10 new customers in, give them 25 credits from the company, introduce them to the product, get them on a 3-day sample, and get them sharing their story. That's the agreement I'm going to go in with, is that they're going to share and tag me when their sample comes. And this is their personal referral code. You guys, if you literally utilize this and take it to your advantage, even if you don't have samples, okay, even if you do not have any samples, the company is literally giving you 25 credits. Okay. And you can literally say, you guys, you can get a product for like what, like $1, like $2, $4, $5. Go ahead, Jackie. Mwah. Bye. Go. But listen, if you do not share this, we have 2 more days after today. All right. So we have all day tomorrow, the rest of tonight, all day tomorrow, and all day the following day. I want you guys to get zoomed in and focused on how that $25 could help somebody. Maybe there's somebody that needs better gut health. Maybe there's somebody that could follow the gummies. All right. Like, you know, guys, you've seen a couple weeks ago, I did like the Zoom where my hair was like way down here, but like I had it here. And I showed the growth, right? My overall hair is better. My skin is better. Before and after pictures, I'm getting really brave and about to post them. But you know what? I'm not doing my right before my surgery or right when I joined Lavelle, I'm going to show at my very largest. That's why I'm so scared. I'm going to show my very largest to where I am today. Yeah, go.
One thing to like allow to touch, like to, you know, piggyback off what Amanda said, be vulnerable. Like, be vulnerable. I know it's scary because vulnerable opens up the doors to receiving criticism, but when you're vulnerable within yourself, it just allows it. I don't even know how to explain it, but it just allows you to build your own self-confidence because you are cracking open a layer of your own self. You're learning to let other people in. And I mean, nowadays, you know, there are a lot of people that are afraid to be vulnerable, that because we've been taught to be guarded. We've been taught to, like, you keep your business to yourself. You don't share with the masses. But there's so much beauty when you share and when you are vulnerable with the things that you know can touch on the hearts of other people. So my biggest tip is to be vulnerable with yourself and just allow others to see the rawness and the realness, you know? I mean, it is Transformation Tuesday, so what better way to walk into tomorrow sharing like your before and after, or even if you don't have a before and after, it can be your physical or your mental, your emotional. Like Amanda said, like when I first, before Thrive, like if you talk to me before 7 a.m., Lord have mercy, brace yourself because you're coming in hot. But the thing is, talk about how you were before to how you were now with your capsules, even if you are a day in or even if you are a weekend, what this has done for your body, your mindset, your emotional state of mind. Give yourself the space to do it. Give yourself the vulnerability to just share, you know, whether you hit one person or you hit 5 people, at least you are allowing yourself to break down those walls bit by bit.
Yep. And I'm glad, I'm going to tell you guys this. So I'm going to give you a couple things that if you focus on this week, you are going to absolutely grow. Okay. Number one, first off, figure out what it is that you are even about. All right. Go through your Facebook, go through your Instagram, whatever it is that you mainly plan on working, clean it up. Clean it up. And by clean it up, I mean, if you go to your page and all you see is a bunch of like, it looks spammy, just like hide some stuff or whatever. But just clean it up. All right. But plan on what it is that your goal is, what your mission is going to be to share. And that's a lot harder than it sounds, right? Sometimes that's a lot harder than what it sounds. And yes, you want to find a way that you can get what we have in front of people that are looking for it, right? So you want to find a way to share a solution for somebody's problem, whether that is, and here's the thing, I hear it all the time: no money, don't know anybody, and no time. Like those are the 3 top excuses for why, you know, nobody's business is growing. Everybody's broke. No shit. No shit. So let's help them figure out a way. Let's show them that, you know, not these ridiculously absurd, crazy checks, you guys. Let's show people how to put gas in their car. Let's show people how they can go to the grocery store and buy groceries. Let's show people how they can buy diapers. And listen, maybe you're awesome at couponing. Like, I'm learning how to coupon, and can I just tell you, that shit's amazing. Like, I literally can go to Walgreens and like what would be like $100 and something, spend $20 for. Legit. I have so many razors, it's so ridiculous. Just because I think it's intriguing and it's fun, and I know if I can share that with other people. I actually even started a Facebook group with it because I'm like, hey, I know people are needing to try to save money right now. I want to help them. I don't care. It doesn't take away from my Thrive, because it gives me something every day, which I kind of slacked off on for a little bit because I get lost. So anyways, focus on what it is that your mission is, right? I'm going to say choose one platform. I'm not saying you can't do all platforms, but I'm saying one platform that you really want to focus on. You really want to focus on your growth, right? And I want you to get so uber focused on how you're going to make new friends this week, right? I mean, intentionally, you are going to make new friends this week. And that can be simply searching, yes, groups that you like, if it's Facebook, or words that you like, or mutual friends, or whatever, okay? Like a mutual friend, find friends, whatever, okay? Then if it's Instagram, you guys literally search exactly what it is that you like. Search what you like. Search what you literally have to share that you're going to be sharing. and then go like, comment, follow people. All right. Same thing with TikTok, same idea, right? Go and look for people that have stuff like that make you laugh or that are sharing content that, like, I right now am sharing people or water talk people. Like, I love water talk people because I'm like, let me get my water in. I love it. And so I need to start sharing some of my recipes because I follow all those people. So I need to bring them some value too. And that's why I said about the smoothie thing. Like, I am trying to up my protein because I hit a stall and a plateau on my journey. So I want to draw people in, and I'm seeing all these recipes. I'm like, oh my gosh, why am I not sharing this after I make it? Like, that's so bizarre. Why am I not doing that? And that's my own holdup. So I want to challenge each one of you guys this week to get focused on how are you going to make new friends? How are you going to get in front of new people? Right. And then guess what? While you're sitting there making your lifestyle mix and you are making your protein smoothie and sharing this awesome recipe or whatever it is, or you're just sitting there bullshitting or talking or taking a picture, like, I don't know, take your gummies or take something in a video while you're doing it, or get on and just go live and share while you're taking your 3 steps and you don't want to, like, crazy people, but challenge yourself to find a way that you are going to get in front of people and that you are going to connect with people. So maybe you're liking, I don't know, depends on what platform you're on, but you're liking so many posts, and you can do this in 10-minute increments, 15 minutes in increments, or you can sit down for an hour and slam it all out if you need to. Okay. But whatever works for you. I used to do it a lot of times at my daughter's soccer practices. I do a lot of listening to stuff. Like I said, whenever I'm in the car, I also do a lot of voice to text, which is why sometimes my messages come out to people like crazy. And so if I sound crazy, that's why. But find a way that you are going to get your business to work like around your life, your schedule, and so forth, right? Make it a priority to get on at least 1 or 2 Zooms a week that are going to inspire you, that are going to give you tips. Realize that your uplines or people that are above you, you guys, they may not work their business the same way. My uplines were not on social media in my previous business, and really, to be honest with you, a lot of my uplines are belly to belly that are even right now, they are not big social media people, like, really at all, right? So because of that, if I want to mainly work my business on social media, then I need to figure it out, right? I literally need to figure it out, and I need to figure out how I'm going to do that. And listen, I'm going to be very transparent and tell you guys, besides my life being chaotic and crazy, and one of the reasons why I didn't really want to do a lot of the belly to belly, I really didn't have, I was very overweight whenever I started my first company. And like I told you guys, I struggled a lot with my own self-confidence and my own weight. So selling weight loss stuff and things like that, sometimes it got in my head. So I found, though, that it was going to be easier for me. I worked midnight shift to work my business between 9 p.m. when my kids went to bed and 2 a.m. And I needed to figure out a way during that window to do what I need to do. Listen to Zooms, listen to calls, make friends, make my post. And I didn't even post it the rest of the day. I didn't even reply to people the rest of the day. I didn't do anything else the rest of the day because I was sleeping or at work. So I want you guys to understand, find a way that you are going to be able to get consistent with that and take advantage of what it is that we have to offer, what Le-Vel has to offer, that this is a free opportunity, a free, like, customers can literally, they don't have any money. Great. You can still create an account. You can still share your referral link and tell people what you want to try, what you're excited to try, and what you're excited to start with, right? And if you can find somebody that's a massive sharer, you bet your ass I'm going to get them a sample out, because that person could trickle in who knows who, right? And start looking for people in the community. Like, I literally just volunteered myself to help somebody that's running for sheriff campaign. And I'm about to volunteer myself to help somebody that's running for Board of Education. Let me help you. Let me get your word out for you. Why? Because first of all, I like them. And it's going to help me get my butt out there in the community and meet new people and also share. And then there are people going to be like, who the heck is this girl? I'm Amanda Serge. That's who the heck I am. And yeah, I'm that Thrive girl. And yeah, I get to be home with my kids and get to do all this crazy stuff. So find a way to get yourself in front of exactly who it is that needs what we have. Because you guys, people are looking. All you got to do is Google it. Literally Google it, or, you know, ask the public. There's tons of websites, but do that. And I promise you, it's going to be a game changer. One last thing. I'm going to shut up. I had a thing. Oh, write your goals, figure out how you're going to make them happen, right? So like if you're struggling with making friends, make that your goal this week. Like, I'm going to figure out how I'm going to connect with new people. If you are struggling with getting customers, getting promoters, guess what, guys? You got to get in front of new people. You have to find a way. Are you interacting with them? Are you like actually interacting with them? Or are you just adding them and then hoping because you're posting? That shit doesn't work. All right. You're going to be waiting a long time. So anyways, I just realized what time it was and I could go on all night. Do you have any other last tips? Because I will just keep talking.
The
And
only thing that I do have to say on top of that is like, if you want to like, there was one method that I heard recently, I think it was last week, the clam method.
Clam. Yep.
You
I have it wrote down right here.
Right. So do I. wrote it down. Comment, like, add, and message, you know, and do it on what feels right for you. Everyone's different, you know, and create little folders for yourself. That's one the thing that I love about Instagram is you get to create little folders of who you can go back to and get in the process of engaging with their stuff. You know, you may have to scroll down about the bottom and then work your way up, or start at the top and work your way down, but you want to always stay connected with them, you know. And sometimes I get this question asked, well, what happens if they're private? Well, maybe just, you know, keep them as a back burner, but you want to build relationships with people that have open profiles, because sometimes, a lot of times, if they're private, it's hard to build that relationship, especially if you're doing this, whether it be on Facebook or Instagram, or even TikTok. So just give yourself the space to do it and create a method that allows you to keep yourself organized, because if you're not organized, then you become like a messy action.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with the messy action, though.
And you guys listen, you know, when we started this and I said like this was like my stuff that I'm working on, okay? I want you guys to know that I have to see it or I'm not going to do it person, right? So like calendars in my phone, I can set alarms to and so forth. But if I don't write it, I don't do it. Okay? Like if I don't if I don't write it, I don't do it. And I'm not talking about even check mark it. I'm talking like if I don't write it, I do not do it. So like literally, guess what? I know I want to join some new groups about life that's happening into me right now. So I have to like think about that. So I don't have like it wrote down like what groups I'm going to join or what I'm going to do. But I'm going to clean up. I'm going to delete groups as well. Right. So like I have a mission of that. I have to add to my network, and Clam is wrote out right beside to that, because that's exactly the way that you do it. And that's Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, doesn't matter where it's at. Stories. How am I going to attract people? I want to get better with my stories and be an intentional. Reels, same thing. Value. I want to bring more value. All right. And things that I'm overcoming, things that I'm going through. I already said TikToks and Reels. I also want to create a funnel. I want to get better with my follow-up. So I want to create a funnel. When somebody comes to my website, I want them to be able to subscribe, and they might go and order as a customer. They might order as a promoter, or they may just end up saying, yep, I want to subscribe into her, and I'm going to start a weekly newsletter. Yep, that's my goal, because I want to start collecting and kind of get better at that. I want to post for my audience, and I want to challenge you to post for your audience. I want to clean up my social medias. That's all my social medias. That's this time of the year. That's just what I do. I want to also clean up my websites. I just want to make sure that I'm putting this stuff out there and it's very clear when people go there. Okay. Also, I told you I have VIP Auto Elite as one of my goals. I also have the 600K. Yours might be for you to start thriving for free, for you to actually get a promoter or two promoters, right? I also, adding onto that, is that I want to make sure I'm checking in on each of my groups, like chats and so forth, right? You guys, I am not a big chat person. I hate small talk, right? So like for me, chats are hard. Right? They're hard. I hate small talk. Like I hate it. I am just like here you go, bye. And I'm gone. let me drop this nugget and off I go. Because if somebody has a question or they need help, I want them to reach out and I want to have that conversation. I want to have that personal relationship with each person. And Jackie said it a little bit ago, but I want to say this. No matter who you are, where you're at, if you have ever had anybody on your team ever, and maybe the person you signed up quit or whatever, if you see customers down underneath, reach out to them. If you see promoters down underneath, I don't care what level they are on, you guys, I promise you, those people deserve support. And if they aren't getting it, please reach out to them. Okay. If they are still ordering or they are still whatever, reach out to them, help them. Right? Because guess what? Compression is a beautiful thing. I got somebody this past week, I got a fast start bonus on somebody that was literally 10 levels deep. 10 levels deep. I got a level 1 fast start bonus on them. Yep. Because not a single person in between us was active and qualified. Bam. Right? So you don't even know. I mean, Twin went from being on like level 8 or 9 to level 3. For me, like permanently, because everybody else canceled in between. Isn't that amazing? Depression's a beautiful thing. So that goes with customers as well. Make sure you help everybody. And then that's all. Okay, I'm shutting up now. Holy moly, we talked a lot. Thank you so much. You gave some awesome advice tonight, and I'm so glad you got on. You'll have to join us again for another one, or we'll go live sometime.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yep. All right, guys, everybody have a good night. And listen, if you are somebody that is literally like you're growing momentum, you're getting yourself like something is working for you, please reach out to Jackie or I. We would love to have you on because literally, guys, it was somebody saying Amanda is like really kicking ass at Instagram. And it was like, it grew this belief in me like, holy shit, somebody wants to hear my tips. And then I literally just like, it was like the Amanda takeover. And like literally like all these years ago, it's like these people like spiced my little ego up and made me all excited. And I like got excited about sharing and learning and I wanted to learn more so I could share more. It's like a little kid in a candy store. So if you are somebody that is creating some momentum for yourself, you're finding something that works, please reach out to us. We want you guys on. We want to encourage you as a leader to know that you are valued and appreciated and loved. And I do not care what rank you are. So please know it does not matter if you're a brand promoter, like brand promoter is next to your name or 200K does not mean shit to me because there are some lazy ass people that doesn't matter what rank they're at. Okay. And then there are some kick ass people that just haven't hit those right people yet to have their organization just explode. So love y'all. Have a good night. And thank you again, hun. Bye-bye.
Bye.